Imagine being so far from civilization that the closest human beings aren't on Earth. They're floating hundreds of miles above you in space. It sounds impossible, but there's one place on our planet where that's sometimes true. No cities, no islands, no ships, no airplanes overhead, just endless oceans stretching in every direction. This is Point Nemo, the most isolated place on Earth. Welcome to Hidden Earth, where we uncover the world's forgotten places, incredible mysteries, and true stories that are stranger than fiction. Today, we're traveling to one of the loneliest places on our planet to answer a fascinating question. How can anywhere on Earth be farther from people than astronauts orbiting in space? To find Point Nemo, you first need a map. Now zoom out, farther, keep going, past the continents, past the familiar shipping routes, deep into the South Pacific Ocean. Almost exactly halfway between New Zealand, South America, and Antarctica lies a single point surrounded by thousands of miles of open water. That's Point Nemo. Its official name is the Oceanic Pole of Inaccessibility. In simple terms, it's the place in the ocean that's farthest from any land. The nearest islands are each more than 1,600 miles away. To put that into perspective, that's roughly the distance from New York City to Denver or London to Rome. Imagine standing somewhere that far from the nearest piece of land. In every direction, it's difficult for our brains to comprehend just how empty that part of the Pacific really is. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet, yet even among all that water, Point Nemo stands alone. The location was first calculated in 1992 by Croatian engineer Hrvoje Lukatela using advanced computer models and satellite mapping. Before modern computing, pinpointing the exact center of such a vast, empty region would have been nearly impossible. Even today, very few people ever travel anywhere close to it. Commercial shipping routes avoid the area because there are no ports nearby. Fishing vessels rarely venture that far into the open Pacific. Tourist cruises don't pass through. It's simply too remote. And that's exactly what makes it so fascinating. If you found yourself floating at Point Nemo, your chances of seeing another human being would be incredibly small. In fact, there are times when the closest people to you wouldn't be sailors, they wouldn't be pilots, they wouldn't even be standing on Earth. They would be astronauts aboard the International Space Station, orbiting roughly 250 miles above the planet. That's actually closer than the nearest permanent human settlement. It's one of those facts that sounds made up, but it's true. Standing at the loneliest point on Earth, the nearest people may be flying through space. Yet Point Nemo has another strange connection, one that has nothing to do with astronauts or explorers. For decades, this lonely patch of ocean has quietly become the final resting place for something else entirely. Something built by humans. Something that once traveled beyond our atmosphere. That place is known as the spacecraft cemetery. When satellites, cargo vehicles, and even space stations reach the end of their operational lives, engineers sometimes guide them back toward Earth. But they can't simply let massive pieces of space hardware fall anywhere. Most of the planet is home to people. Point Nemo is different. Because it is so incredibly remote, space agencies have used the surrounding waters as the safest place to bring large spacecraft back to Earth. Over the years, hundreds of objects have re-entered the atmosphere above this region before crashing into the Pacific Ocean. Among them are cargo spacecraft, satellites, and even the Russian space station Mir, which was deliberately deorbited in 2001. By the time these vehicles reach the ocean, much of them has already burned away during the fiery descent through Earth's atmosphere. The remaining fragments disappear into waters nearly 2.5 miles deep. Far below the waves, pieces of humanity's journey into space now rest on the ocean floor. It's one of the strangest intersections of exploration imaginable. The loneliest place on Earth has become the final destination for machines built to leave it. Yet even here, life finds a way. Although the surrounding ocean appears empty, the waters are home to microscopic organisms, deep-sea fish, squid, and creatures that have adapted to one of the most isolated marine environments on the planet. Scientists are still discovering new species in the deep ocean, reminding us that even places that seem barren can hold remarkable surprises. In many ways, Point Nemo represents two different frontiers at once. Above the surface, it is a symbol of isolation. Below the surface, it is one of the least explored environments on Earth. More people have walked on the moon than have explored the deepest parts of our own oceans. That fact alone says something extraordinary about our planet. We've mapped distant worlds, photographed galaxies billions of light years away, sent spacecraft beyond the edge of our solar system. Yet much of Earth's deep ocean remains a mystery. Point Nemo reminds us just how enormous our planet really is. In an age of GPS, satellites, and instant communication, it's easy to believe that every corner of the world has been discovered. But there are still places so remote that reaching them requires days of travel across open ocean. Places where silence stretches farther than the eye can see. Places where the nearest people may be orbiting high above your head. The most isolated place on Earth isn't hidden beneath a mountain or buried deep within a jungle. It's hiding in plain sight, an invisible point in the middle of an endless ocean, reminding us that even on a connected planet, true wilderness still exists. Thanks for joining us on another journey across hidden Earth. If this story fascinated you, there are countless more waiting to be uncovered. Subscribe for more documentary-style stories from around the world and continue your journey by watching the next episode on your screen. Until next time, keep exploring